been saturated with our leaders giving press conferences, praising each other on their individual and collective leadership through some pretty turbulent times. They've all detailed and patted each other on the backs for their skills and their version of bringing solutions to those they represent and to the country at large. I think that they've all missed the mark, though, as they tout how great leaders they are. Something is missing, and that something is character. You might ask yourself, what's character have to do with this? Well, it's the moral and ethical qualities that an individual displays consistently through their behaviors and their decisions. I bring this up because it's become clear that any semblance of character is gone. From the national level to the more localized level, specifically from those that we call leaders. For decades, but especially in recent months, the lives of humans have been used as political pawns as the two sides argue over who will get a claimed victory over this issue or that issue. Families who've dedicated to their careers in service to our nation went without paychecks, and their finances have been compromised as a result of this. Food pantries are being pushed to the limits as record numbers are showing up to receive food so their families don't starve. Our airspace became more dangerous each passing day as air traffic controllers have been stressed to levels really unseen in human history. Locally speaking, states are mired in arguments about how to best handle increasing crime and decreasing educational attainment. They can't seem to decide whether economic improvement means more tax breaks for the wealthy or a roof for the homeless. They struggle to understand whether a living wage should pay for the bare minimum or enough to actually live without worrying if the next medical condition will bankrupt them. This isn't the resume of leaders. This is the resume of bad managers at best. And unfortunately, as the old saying goes, the world is changed by your example, not your opinion. I'm not sure if it's a stretch to say that the people we've allowed to be called leaders have proved that saying out, and most definitely not in a good way if they have. There are three things to focus on when we want to decide if these folks are worthy of being called leaders. Leaders focus more on character than on their skill set. Leaders work to leave people better than they found them. And lastly, with real leaders, gratitude is the attitude. We could go on all day about how important the appropriate skills are for leadership. I'm not going to deny most of them, but a leader with character is the real leader. It doesn't matter how technically proficient a person is. If they lack morals, ethics, and empathy, it's going to be hard for them to be a real leader. You see, too often, people are elevated to positions of leadership based on popularity, who they know, or by way of funding. In these cases, their accountability to those they serve gets muddy or lost. If they once had positive character, it erodes as the pressure to serve the incorrect people increases. While this happens, their ability to actually serve those that they are intended to serve is handicapped. Next, people with character work to make people better. If they had no effect on people, they weren't change agents. And if they make things worse for people, then they're hardly leaders. I'm not talking about making a select few better and calling that leadership. I'm talking about making things better for the most people with which you can impact. Character means you practice gratitude. Those that do this build trust. They create a culture in which people feel respected, valued, and inspired. I'd be willing to bet that many of the leaders we have now forgot what it's really like to actually be the people that they lead. It's difficult to believe a leader who talks about the struggles of the working poor when they either never have been the working poor or haven't had to decide which bills to try to pay in the last 3 decades. Decisions like whether to buy groceries for your family or pay the electric bill are more than likely foreign to their foreign concepts at this point. While I'm sure some of them absolutely did struggle growing up, listening to people speak about poverty while they have millions in net worth just isn't believable. A defining pillar of leadership is integrity. In a neighborhood or a family setting, this is the antithesis of apathy, which nationally is ever present. When a parent or a community leader acts with integrity, they are reliable. And this reliability is paramount, as family members or volunteers will not commit fully to shared goals if they doubt their leader's truthfulness. Lastly, I want to bring up humility. Humility is an area that I think all of us can work on. If nobody can admit mistakes, then we end up in the vicious cycle in which we have caught ourselves in currently. Blame shifting has caused anger, distortion of facts, and the overall failure to accomplish any goals. Again, though, this leadership doesn't start in boardrooms or in legislative halls. It starts in our daily lives, within our homes and local communities. What we see happening at the national level started at the local level and within our homes. We've seemingly went to war with ourselves, and nobody is winning. Since leadership has disappeared on the national stage, we have to take over here at home. You, me, us. We are the leaders that are needed right now. We don't need some mythical person at the highest level to surface and lead us to utopia. We need to build that here at home, unapologetically. That takes courage. The courage to say enough is enough. And the courage to say, I don't care if this makes me unpopular, it's what's right. Finally, the courage to truthfully audit ourselves. I have a challenge for everyone in a leadership role. And be honest with yourself. Whether you are an elected leader, business leader, or a leader in your home, take inventory of who you are. Write down your 5 best character traits. After you have that accomplished, take a while to think about whether the decisions that you've made based on those character traits have hurt people. Don't make excuses if they have. Don't assume that you're right. Remember the words that I said about humility. It's okay that you might not be right on the right side of the argument. If you've come to the conclusion that there are issues with your listed traits, I'd suggest you make changes and make them quickly. Listen, everyone, we can all and should all work on ourselves. None of us are perfect. And that's what makes us human. And that's what separates the leaders from the led. But imperfection means that we can become better humans. And that's the beauty of this life. We can change, and that change affects everyone. By working together as the leaders of our circles, we can do better and we can be better. And right now, we need better.
Hey everybody, I just want to thank you so much for watching my video. If you find these videos inspiring, if you like hearing the stories of everybody that we bring onto the show, please go to the page, like and subscribe, and share it with all of your friends. It would mean so much to me and all of the future people that we'll have on the show. So again, please go to the YouTube page, like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.